Finally. It wasn't nearly as bad as South Africa as far as time-wise, but it felt worse for some reason. Not sure why. Neither of us were running on a lot of sleep, but it's only like 2:30, so we gotta stay up so that we can get our body clock situated.
The plan for today is, well, first take a shower.
Yes.
And then we're gonna go check out the Duomo here in Milan and get something to eat and try to stay up as long as we can before we crash tonight. And then tomorrow morning, head to Venice.
No later than 10 p.m. bedtime though. It's gonna be early night Gavin style.
We don't need much tonight.
A little warning for the drop. I don't know the name of this place.
It's the Duomo of Milan.
Yeah, we're just gonna call it that. Let's see how many people we can get in this shot. I don't think it's gonna be. Yeah, we'll do that. Right?
Yeah.
We made it finally to the Duomo here in the big piazza. We got that old piece of artwork back there. We've got beautiful weather, a little bit windy, but great so far.
We're starving, but we're too early for dinner, so we got Gavin's still paying for it, but it's delicious. That's a big smile. So this morning we got up and after, well, I didn't sleep great, but Gavin slept wonderfully. But that's okay. We got up and we went to go get cappuccinos and breakfast, and it was delicious. And now we're just waiting, we're just killing time walking around waiting for our train that isn't until 11:45. And it's like 10:15, so we got some time to kill, and we don't really want to walk around with our bags all morning, so we're just chillaxing and enjoying the scenery.
Where's the train going to?
Venice.
Venice. first city that we're gonna be here for more than one day. We just dropped our bags off at the left luggage so that we don't have to cart them around for the next 2 hours while we wait to check in for Airbnb. So we were walking, trying to find a place to eat, and we ended up here. Dead end for us feet people. So we're gonna keep on going somewhere else. We just came out of this church that we weren't initially going to go into because there was a €3 cover charge.
I didn't think it was worth it.
But we walked in and it was, first of all, way bigger than we thought. And it was amazing.
So glad we went.
There's so many cool pieces of art that we have no idea what they mean. We kind of know who they're for thanks to the little paper guide they had. But limited in detail, and we did not pay for the audio guide, but it was super cool. First church that we'd gone into during our trip here, and definitely worth the €3 charge to get in.
We think we found the place.
The streets are
Quite narrow.
very different from here, but we took the second street. We found it. We got the key to somewhere, so we're gonna go check it out.
Am I supposed to look? Oh, this is it? Like this whole thing?
Yeah, we have the whole place. The whole thing makes sense. Alright, so we've just gotten our little earpieces so that we can hear what's going on when we go on the tour inside of the Doge's Palace and San Marcos Basilica, which you can see in the background right there, and then the Doge's Palace right there above my bald head.
Okay, inside the beautiful spectacular subject rooms, there's the whole story of the initial.
Alright, so we just finished our tour of the Doge's Palace in St. Mark's Basilica, and it was awesome.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Completely worth the money to pay to skip the line and get in and see everything that we did.
Yeah, and to have a guide that knows a lot of detail, information about the artwork that we just it would go right over our heads. That was fantastic. Doge's Palace, she was talking about how it's very light, it's very open, where a lot of other palaces and castles are fortified and kind of hard to get to, but because Venice is already fortified by the water, it's able to be very open, and it was a very political building. So there's religious symbolism because people are very religious here in Italy just in general, but because it was political, they had representations of faith rather than representations of specific religions. That was really interesting, and found out the Doge is kind of like the president in that he doesn't have there's checks and balances, and he's elected, but he doesn't really have any power, and he's kind of forced to live in the palace, and he's kind of locked into these 8 small rooms, they said. We didn't get to see the rooms, I'm not sure how small they really were, but you had to be rich to be a Doge, so it's probably, you moving from a giant mansion to, nothing, relatively. So that was definitely really interesting to learn about that.
And then we went to St. Mark's Basilica, which I don't even know how they crammed that many people in there. It was kind of awkward in places because we had to skip the line, that we were trying to weave through these masses of people who were just glaring at us because they had been waiting in line for 10 times as long as we had been there. But
people tried to sneak in with us too.
Yeah,
but it didn't work.
We got to go into areas that were restricted to the general public, which was cool. But some things that we learned is when you walk in, we weren't allowed to take any pictures or video, but you walk in and the ceiling, first it's 300,000 square feet of ceiling with these massive domes. I think there are 6 domes inside, and the entirety of the ceiling is covered in 24-karat glass tile that is probably half inch by half inch.
Yeah, smaller than a sugar cube.
So small, these tiny little tiles that were mosaics across the ceiling. But before it was complete, it took 700 years to complete. And before it was completed, the mosaic master died, and the mosaic school, something happened to it. It went under somehow. And so nobody knew how to make these beautiful mosaics from these tiles, and so what they did was the rest of the ceiling was completed in paint, and they had painted it on paper and then took the paper and then plastered it up on the ceiling, so a small section of the ceiling is completely different from the rest of it, but it's still amazing to look at.
And you can see the artistic style difference from the older, can't remember the style, but up near the top is the older, more less detail, but then lower down you have more of the Renaissance style, a little more, you have depth, with the people. So you can tell what was newer and what was older.
Yeah. And so it is St. Mark's Basilica because St. Mark was apparently found in Alexandria, where he was killed, and then brought here to Venice. And they wanted to build this basilica in honor of him, but because it took so long to complete, they actually lost the body of St. Mark for part of it, and before completion it was recovered and found somehow by some miracle, and he is now in his resting place in a tomb in the center of the basilica. But it was just amazing. The whole thing was so interesting and so cool to see.
Yeah.
So now I think we might get something to eat. I don't know, it's starting to rain, so maybe something indoors.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So now we're on our way to get a little bit of aperitivo or something like that. It's like a pre-meal drinking meal. We'll go and try and find some of that. So right there That's the bridge of size, not the bridge that we're on now, which is what most people think. But we were on the tour and we went through that bridge. We knew we were going to, and we were both over halfway through and we even realized we were on the bridge. So we both were able to look out the last window really quickly as the group proceeded forward. And there was no going back. There was no wave of people. So we came back later tonight so that we could actually spend a little time looking at it. Venice, and we are on our way to try and find a bakery so we can have some bread and cheese on the train when we're heading to Florence.
We're trying to find an open grocery store on Labor Day, Italian Labor Day. It might not be very easy.
We just checked out of our Airbnb here in Venice, and we're walking on to the train on our way to Florence.
I'm really sad to leave Venice, though. This has been so fun.
Yeah, it was better than last time. So you get off the path and way to go.
So we just got to Florence, and this is our apartment. Washroom. It's a bedroom.
So we've just left our Airbnb in Florence for going out on the first night. We've got a aperitivo with a guide, so we'll be talking about some things to do in Florence and some suggestions. So we're headed there now. What kind of food did you say you just wanted to get?
I just think it would be nice to switch it up while we're here. I don't want pasta every night.
How many times have you had pasta?
I've had it twice, but I'm just saying. I can't have pasta every night. Mexican.
Twice?
It sounded good.
Twice? Twice? Walk that back.
I've had it twice.
Last night at Gino's.
Yes.
And
And the first night in Milan. And the cheese.
okay, she was right, it was twice.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
We are in a tiny elevator. Very small.
Hold on to the railing.
Oh man. It's like a dungeon upstairs?
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, we're done. We made it. Woo!
So right now we're standing in front of the Basilica di Santa Croce di Firenze.
You couldn't remember that?
Shut up. And we just got done with our Airbnb experience, I guess is what it's called.
Yeah.
It was a aperitivo with a woman who has lived in Florence for the past almost 10 years probably, I would guess.
Yeah,
She
10,
didn't
15
say,
years.
but she's been here since she was 18. And she gave a very good rendition of Florentine culture and history, and it was very entertaining. It reminded me, I was telling Gavin, it reminded me of the show Drunk History, just the way that she told her stories, and she was very animated. It was very good.
She wasn't drunk,
No,
that we could tell.
no,
It was just how she talked was a lot like how they did in that show.
yes. Anyway, so we were gonna get dinner, but we weren't quite hungry yet because we had lots of good appetizers that she had prepared for us. So we came here to this church that she told us a little bit about.
It was actually built before the kind of famous church in Florence, you know, the Duomo people call it, because of the big dome. This one was actually built first, and then the ruling family in Florence said, no, that's not big enough, that's not glamorous enough, we need something else. And so that's when they commissioned the Duomo. While this one was still being built, they gave the architects the money to build this other church to stand out a little bit more. So this one's kind of been overshadowed, even though it's pretty magnificent. So it does have a Star of David on it, which stands out just because you're in Italy in a very Roman Christian area. But apparently the most believed story is that the architect of the facade was Jewish, and so that's why there's a Star of David on there. So you just put it on there, and as far as our host was concerned, they'd already paid for it, so they couldn't say anything about it. So Star of David in the middle of Italy.
So now I think we might explore a little bit more and then go get something to eat.
Not as late as last night though, because we were like just getting into the kitchen phones, so that whole super late thing, not quite as late as it is. Are we supposed to go that way, or are we supposed to go this way?
So we are up a little bit early this morning and we're headed out. We're gonna go to the Uffizi Gallery. We have, we don't actually know if it's a guided tour or just tickets to get in, but we have a set time that we're supposed to be there. So we're gonna go get some coffee and some breakfast, and then we are gonna head down to the Uffizi.
So right now we're waiting outside the Uffizi Gallery. Long line of people who booked our tickets ahead of time, so we had a scheduled time to go in, so don't have to wait in the big line. We're here a little bit early. You only get your tickets 15 minutes before it opens, and so we have about 10 minutes to spare. So we're just hanging out and recovering from the death march that we were on to get here. I didn't explain the situation super well, so Lauren thought we needed to be here right at 9:45 when we could, that was the earliest we could do anything. So
Here we are. Waiting.
Alright, now we've gone up the 4 flights of stairs. Now we can begin.
This awkward angle is brought to you by the Palazzo PT?
Yeah.
PT? Yeah. We just got done with the Uffizi Gallery and
Spent what, 2.5 hours in there? I think 3 hours. We spent 3 hours in there, and it was multiple levels, multiple wings, each with a dozen plus rooms, with a handful of rooms in each of them, all full of different artwork from different eras, different artists, different purposes, commissioned by different people for various reasons. It was almost overwhelming. There was just so much. Yeah, it was very overwhelming.
it was overwhelming. There were a lot of people and a lot of things to see, but I'm still glad we went. It
Absolutely.
was really cool.
Yeah, it was very cool to see all of that. A guide, I'm still torn whether we should have used a guide, because
I think a guide would have been nice because we could have skipped over a lot of things and got to know the things that were important or interesting better than the little plaques that were supplied.
yeah, the plaques weren't, most of the information on there, more often than not, was this piece has been in the gallery since such and such a time, and that's not what we were really interested in seeing, as far as the backstory to the art piece. So now after we went through that, we walked across the river, and we got a couple sandwiches and some water and a spritz, and we're just hanging out in the piazza with a lot of other people and planning our next steps.
we're trying to find the indoor market where we can get something to eat. It's so good. So good.
Probably some of the best ravioli you're gonna get for $5. So we found a cannoli that looked like it was worth at least trying. So this one's for you, Cassie.
It's good. I like it. It kind of tastes like a donut. Like the batter, whatever you want to call it. The roll.
This fried dough here.
Yeah. The fried dough tastes like a donut and the cream, it's like ice cream. This is our last night in Florence and we spent, I don't know, the last few hours in our apartment because it's been pouring rain outside all afternoon.
Lots of rain.
And I don't know, we could have got an umbrella, but I didn't want to pack it around and I don't know.
We've been going at about 110% the last few days, so it figured it'd be a good opportunity to take a little break anyways. So we came back.
We had to do laundry too.
Did some laundry. Drying has been more difficult than we had thought, so that helped us catch up on that as well. So we had a little nap, got some rest. Now we're on our way out to get some food. Yeah. What kind of food are we getting?
We're getting pizza.
Good pizza?
Great pizza.
It's supposed to be.
Well, it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
We'll see.
we just left the city center. We're leaving the city center now. We picked up our bags from the apartment after going inside the Duomo, and now we're headed to the bus station to get our bus ride to Siena.
The Duomo was so cool. I'm really glad we went in. We almost considered not going inside of it, but Gavin said no, we need to. I'm glad we did.
The lines were really long yesterday during the day, so we got up earlier to get there before it opened so we could jump ahead of the line. And so we still waited in line for an hour and 15 minutes, but we got to go in the crypt.
We were closer to the entrance, so that was satisfying.
Yes, that was better.
So we just got to Siena, and our first stop was the Duomo of Siena. And I think this was one of my favorite churches. It had some really amazing artwork, and just the construction material was really pretty, which sounds weird to say, but it was beautiful inside.
Yeah, lots of cool marble work along the pillars, the supporting columns, and the floor. There's lots of engravings in the marble, which was
like stories.
fascinating. Yeah, they were
Stories.
really cool.
And pictures. And then there was a library with a bunch of music books, like old music books that were like, I don't know, the size of my arm span big, like huge music books. It was really cool.
And very colorful paintings.
Yeah, super vibrant.
And now we're off to the crypt and the baptistry. Check out some more.
We completely forgot to do a tour of the apartment when we first got here because we were so blown away by the views outside. So we're gonna do it now when we're about ready to leave. So this is when you first walk in, you come in from down the stairs and then you walk in and there's a kitchen right here. And then
With a view from this window right here.
Cute little window. And then the back of the apartment looks out at the church across the way. And we have a little dining area here. And then this is our bedroom / living room. This couch folded out into a bed. And it was okay.
It's got a handy little compartment for storing the pillows though. Very economical use of space. Mattress could use some touching up though.
We have the bathroom over here. Another bathroom with a view. Because then we have this view. This apartment served us very well the last 2 nights. We were only in Siena for a couple of nights, but it's been really fun. It's been a good, relaxing, more low-key, and much needed.
Yeah, yesterday was a little bit colder. Well, a lot colder actually. Had some rain, so we took it easy in the afternoon. Participated in the siesta that everyone else takes in the afternoon. We shut down the shops and whatnot, and now we're rested up and ready to get started in Rome.
I'm excited, but kind of nervous.
A bit of a run around with the public transportation. We finally made it to our apartment here in Rome. So we've just had our host Marco leave us with plenty of instructions. He was super helpful. So we're going to give you a little tour now. We have our living room, and this couch is actually just a couch. Or maybe it's a bed? This actually might be a bed. Oh, it's just like the bed we were in last time.
Oh, look at that.
We don't have to use it because we've got our own bed. And I think it's long enough that I'll actually fit on it. So this is encouraging. And then over here, we've got our bathroom. Pretty standard. You got your shower, sink, toilet, no bidet. But we do have a heated clothes dryer, which is good because we're going to be doing some laundry. And then if you swing over to the right, you will see our little kitchenette. And he provided lots of little things for us. There's even some pasta and some pasta sauce. You see Barilla? We got that in America, so you know it's authentic. And there's a little Nespresso machine in here, dishwasher, a little mini fridge right here. All sorts. But the best part about this apartment is this outside terrace. We got a little covered roof just in case we got to deal with a little bit more rain. We've got this big space, and then look at all this. We could have a party up here, just the two of us. We got all these plants, it's super nice, and the washing machine is out here. So we can do some laundry, and it's right here on the corner, so it's really private, and we've already had a drink out here after walking way too much for using public transportation. But we're really excited about this, and I'm a little sad that we have to leave her right now to go exploring, but we didn't fly out here to hang out on a terrace. We're gonna go explore Testa Verde, or however you say it. Let's go.
So we're in the Santa Maria Piazza that we're staying. So we wanted to document. We were up at 6 o'clock in the morning this morning because we're gonna go to Pompeii today.
So we just got into the grounds of the Pompeii ruins, and we're trying to figure out where the entrance is. But we're really excited.
We're in the,
We're not in the ruins yet, though. I mean, anyway, we are en route to the ruins.
Like, I gave him my ticket. I'm pretty sure we're
Yeah.
here. And now we get to figure out.
I want to go there.
They've designed these roads so that the gross muck and feces and things could go in between all the cracks of the stones, but people wouldn't get their feet dirty because they'd be able to walk on the rocks. There's also still indentations from the carriages that would constantly drive over them.
So we just got back to our apartment for the night. I figured we would just give a little recap of what we did with the remainder of our day.
So where we left off, we're on our way to the Mouth of Truth. And when we got there, there was about like a 25-minute long line that we waited in to go have our picture taken. And I feel like it was kind of anticlimactic. You like go and you hurry and you stick your hand in and then get your picture taken real quick, and then you're ushered off real quick into the church.
Did you tell a lie while your hand was in there?
I didn't.
Or did you tell a truth?
I think I was just panicking and being like, okay, smile, quick.
Oh, see, that's half the fun, is telling a lie and seeing whether it's true or not.
Well,
I had my
don't
left
know.
hand in there, so I'd have to relearn my writing skills.
So then we went to the Jewish ghetto and we had lunch there. It was probably one of the best lunches. I don't know, maybe we were just starving or something, but it was probably one of the best lunches we've had here in Italy.
It was really unique. It wasn't, traditional Italian fare. I mean, it started with the appetizer we got was a Jewish style artichoke.
It was so good.
I'm not sure what exactly it is. It's baked. The leaves on the outside are crisp and brown, but not blackened like they would if you grilled them.
Almost like fried. Like it almost had a fried taste
But
to
it wasn't oily though.
No.
But
Oh, it was so
it was
good.
delicious.
And the inside was so tender and delicious. And then I got a veggie. I was thinking it was going to be a veggie pot pie with like a bechamel sauce on it, but it ended up coming out without any like pie crust or anything like a traditional pot pie would be. It was just like it was actually just artichokes, not mixed vegetables, covered with a bechamel sauce, which you'd think would be too much artichoke, but it was amazing.
And I got Jewish style spaghetti carbonara,
Whoop, whoop.
which I was really excited about because I've been trying to. I really wanted some spaghetti carbonara, but bacon is the main thing. So Jewish style, being kosher, it was dried beef instead of bacon. So I had that, and it was fantastic. I highly recommend Jewish style spaghetti carbonara, although I'm sure all the pork eaters would tell me that bacon's the way to go. But
So then we went into a food coma and we came back to the apartment and napped for a couple of hours before we had to go back out for our night tour. Had a good amount of time to get to the meeting place.
which was great because it took us to the wrong train station. So we then had a 20-minute walk from where we arrived to where we were supposed to meet.
Public transit has been a little confusing for us.
We have
but-
not been champions.
So we made it to the meeting spot. We went and got some pizza real quick because we knew that we weren't gonna have a chance to eat dinner after it got started. So we just got some little hole-in-the-wall pizza and then met up with our group. And our guide was an American. He was from Washington, D.C., but he is a university professor here in Rome, and he's also a forensic archaeologist. So I told Gavin we basically have Indiana Jones as our tour guide tonight. Really informative. We learned so much about the Roman Forum, and even just like buildings that we were walking past. Be like, yeah, this was this, and this is this, and you'll note this rock is different from this rock, and
Yeah. Lots of information, but he made it all really
I was
interesting.
gonna say I'm not making it sound interesting at all, but it was fascinating.
He talked about kind of the origins of Rome and pointed out the various hills you could see from different areas because there's 7 hills, I think, right? 7? 7 hills that Rome was primarily built on, and it all started with little, one village was on this hill and one village was on this hill, and then they used the forum to meet in this one area to trade with one another, and then they started intermarrying, and then they decided that they needed some sort of government, and that's also when they decided that they needed their own religion, and that is when the Roman pagan religion came from. And, talked about how some of the buildings they're built one on top of the other. There was
Like a lasagna.
Yeah, like lasagna he mentioned, which he doesn't like lasagna. Sounded like he was like meh lasagna, which I've had some fantastic lasagna here. So ruin in particular that was an old theater that was then had apartments built on top of it, and
Back in like the Renaissance
yes,
times? Like
yeah.
not new apartments. It's like way back in hundreds of years ago, people were just building on top of building on top of building, and
yeah, and showing how like just Rome was, this is the ancient Rome, and then they had a couple hundred years later they built another stuff on top of that, and then a few hundred years later they built something else on top of that, and so they've only excavated about 7% of ancient Rome, because so much of it now is underneath this house that we're in right now. There's some ancient Rome underneath here, and in order for them to excavate it, they would have to tear this place down. And
only Mussolini did that.
Yeah, he was the only one with the gall to do that. As they're being an archaeologist, he was informing us about how their the limitations with the excavations that they're doing, but then some of the things they are able to do, like they're building a new metro line, a third line, and every other day he says they have to stop production because they find some other ruin, and the head of the archaeology for Rome has to come in and look at it and say whether they can just bust through it or whether it needs to be examined more. And that's really the only way at this point they can examine more things, when they find it doing utility work.
Bringing in things that tied like way back from when it was formed all the way up till today. And there's an acronym that is on every school, every sewer cover drain thing, every city-owned thing has this acronym with 4 letters, SPQR.
Nailed it.
And I don't remember what it stands for.
Some Latin.
But it's in Latin, and they have used that acronym from day one when Rome was formed all the way through today. So I just thought that was pretty awesome, and just like one of those little things that like we walk past every day and we never would have known unless we went on this tour. So that was really cool too.
We made it into the Colosseum, and we went through at night, which was nice because there weren't as many people in there, significantly fewer people. We were able to walk right in, and there were, I don't know, maybe a half dozen tour groups in throughout the entire Colosseum while we were in there. So that's the main floor, that's on the arena floor, and well, I guess we'll go through each step. I came here 12 years ago, and there were a handful of things that were open that weren't open and weren't even available to visit when I came there.
We had it all to ourselves.
Yeah. We went onto the arena floor, so we were able, at the level of where the gladiators would have been. We went down underneath into the underground area of the Colosseum, where the gladiators would have been walking through when they went to perform, where all the slaves were that were setting up for the gladiators, moving animals in and out of the Colosseum. They showed us the elevator system that they used, the lift system.
That was so cool.
And how they worked to move the gladiators up to the stage.
So smart.
Yeah, thinking that this was something that was built in 80 AD, I think? 80 AD.
It took 8 years. 8 years, that's it. That's all it took
Yeah.
to build the entire Colosseum.
Yeah, churches would take hundreds of years.
Each block weighs 15 tons?
15 tons. And he showed us a picture of the lift system that they used for lifting the blocks up to move, and it was just ingenious. It involved a lot of slave labor, but when you have that available,
It's like hamsters on a wheel.
Yeah.
It was like a giant wheel people would like walk in, and it would do.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And he said that they could be assembled and disassembled super quick. You could have them on multiple levels, because the Colosseum was 150 feet tall.
Well,
Right?
50 meters, which is it's more than 150 feet, but yeah, 160
Ish.
feet plus, very tall.
Yes.
And and it was 170 meters wide and 250 meters long. When it was fully constructed, when it was when it was still
fields.
More than 2 football fields. It was huge, and they had some 45,000 people working on it at a time.
We learned so many facts. We could go on all these facts we learned about the Colosseum.
It was really cool being able to go through into the underground area, especially, and seeing what they would have, to an extent, what they would have been experiencing when they went through there. But I think the most interesting thing for me was learning that most of the gladiator events weren't to the death. They were. It was a performance, and people would die because they were using real swords and weapons, and there would be an accidental throat slashing or something.
It's like WWE, was that?
Yeah, the WWE, the wrestling.
Except with swords.
Yeah, a more primitive
and less medical
version.
care.
Yeah, they weren't slaves either. They were all paid. I'm sure not a ton, but very, very interesting. Definitely worth going to. Obviously, if you're in Rome and you're into some of the historical things.
And the night tour, even though we couldn't get a ton of video of it because it was darker, I feel I've never gone during the day, but I feel like that's the way to do it. There's just hardly anybody there. It's just you and your guide and the group of people that you're with and a few other groups scattered about, but it was really cool.
Nice thing about it being full of people is it gives you a little bit more perspective when you see them.
Oh, that's true.
On the other side of the arena.
Because I remember getting inside and being like, I thought it would feel bigger, but I think it's because maybe there were so few people there. Is that?
Well, at night too, I don't think you're able to see
the perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after that, we hopped on our handy dandy number 3 line.
The most successful metro trip we've had yet. We went right to it. Didn't have to figure out where the line was. We got there, we got on, we got off where we were supposed to.
Did we mess up at all today?
Well, besides not knowing where the meetup point was.
But we went to where we wanted to go.
Yeah.
Like, it was the wrong place, but we went where we wanted to go. It only took us 3 days, but we figured it out.
So tomorrow is just more sightseeing. We don't have any tours scheduled or anything, so I think we'll try to sleep in as much as we can. There's a lot of construction going on around us. It starts pretty early, but we just have a few things on the list to do tomorrow, so
yeah,
it should be a more relaxed day. Today was pretty relaxed. I didn't feel like it was super rushed. Oh, we didn't even talk about the Holocaust Museum. Everything was in Italian, so I didn't really feel like we gathered a whole lot from it. It was kind of disappointing in that way. But
it was difficult to get a whole lot of information. 'Cause, yeah, everything was in Italian. But they have a museum in the Jewish ghetto that talks about the Holocaust, and not just in Italy but throughout Europe, and how different countries were how they persecuted Jews during that time, dealt with the Jewish problem, as I saw it said there in some of the English areas, and some of the different propaganda that was used to kind of besmirch that the Jews in those different countries. And it was unfortunate we couldn't read more because there's lots of information. But
yeah,
we get 2 more days in Rome.
Yay!
Tomorrow is a free day, although someone's gonna be cracking the whip and make sure that we keep moving.
Okay,
but
cracking the whip means I wake up at 8 and take about an hour to get ready and want to be out of the house at 9:30. I don't feel like that's unreasonable.
she walks so fast.
Oh.
She could not live here because all she wants to do is walk super fast, and the Italian lifestyle does not suit
my
her.
Speed. I feel like
It's all protest.
Oh my gosh. Pause on that. I didn't realize there were monasteries where nuns went into and never came out of. Like,
oh yeah.
we learned that on our tour. There's a monastery, a medieval monastery, that there's still like a handful of nuns at, that they make an oath once they go through those doors. There's bars on the windows. It literally looks like a prison from the outside. They cannot leave the premises, like, for the rest of their lives. They die in that building. It's just crazy. So anyway, the protest.
Yeah, not quite sure what it was about. Something about not being able to advertise something. But the article I read said it was being able to advertise video game products, but the organization was like the tobacco industry of Italy.
How the Colosseum was made into an official quarry, and
No, because we're 23 minutes into this video.
there's
No
so
one's gonna
many
ever watch
amazing
this.
Facts. I'm gonna have.
So we were on our second to last day in Rome, and we tried going back to the Colosseum so we could get some more footage of it during the daytime. And as you might be able to tell from Lauren's getup, it's raining. And of course, the day that she washes her raincoat and it's on the line drying is when it's raining the most over here.
AccuWeather was not very accurate today.
No. So we bartered down for this poncho.
I said poncho, and he said €5, and I said no. And I walked away, and he said, wait.
She got him down to 3.
But then we were talking later, like, I probably should have gone lower, but...
That's all right. But it's not raining now. Looks like we might see some sun today, so that would be great. And right now we're just kind of walking around, actually back to where we started our tour to get some more footage there, now that it's not raining again. And then going on to the Pantheon, Trevi Fountain, Spanish Steps, kind of that area.
Well, that's tomorrow, but
Okay.
the Campo di Fiore is today.
I don't know why I was pretending like I was the tour guide here. But she knows the plan. When there's only half a parking spot, but you only have half a car.
a nap this afternoon and decided when we woke up we were feeling very refreshed. So we went out to go get some dinner and then thought, why don't we walk to the Vatican? That wasn't on our list, but we had time to do it, and so we came here and it was so worth it. There's like, I don't know, not nearly as many people here as
There's only like 300 people here now.
but it's so
instead
big
of,
and spread
yeah,
out. Like we have this
yeah.
whole area to ourselves. Like it's great and it's beautiful, and I'm really glad we did this.
Oh, we got St. Peter's Basilica in the background. I don't know if we're technically in the Vatican because it's a different country and we don't have our passports on us, so I don't know if we're technically in the Vatican right now, but we're at St. Peter's. We're in the little piazza.
Enough.
Yeah, it's close enough for a last minute decision.